So Tom, then what are your quiet times then? Like, do you just like go home and like pet your wife and watch Game of Thrones? And
I mean, there's some version of that. Yeah. I mean, on the road, I'll tell you this, on the road, I'm kind of like the hotel guy. I like being at the hotel. I like staying there. I like having my meals there. I hit the gym, feel good about myself. I love when the shows are over at night and I get to like just take all my clothes off and, you know, just sit in my boxers like I would at home in my hotel and get room service. Like, so that's fun on the road. And at home, yeah, my favorite part of the night is like when my son goes down, he's 2, and it's like, you know, the house is like finally chill and we have like a window to just kind of see what's on Netflix, what movies are out. Oh, wow, it's all garbage. And then watch some documentary and then go to sleep.
So you're like an introvert romantic.
Kind of. I mean, I'm definitely more introverted. I think it's like comics are you'll like if you meet like a lot of comics, it's a pretty even split. There's a bunch that are extroverts, and then there's a good amount that are kind of like me in that, you know, too much attention, especially like I said, off stage is like overwhelming.
Well, isn't it hard to find that medium where you have the hope of connecting with people? But then it feels like ultimately it ends up feeling really rare that you actually do connect with somebody.
You mean like in life, just in general?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does feel rare.
Yeah. And that's why I think like the most brilliant comics and actors and artists in their medium are great at connecting to the familiarity of loneliness.
Yeah.
And isolation or whatever. But then at the end of the day, it's like, well, what do you take home with you? What, you know, and then there's sort of that, because in the outreach of that, I guess the attempt of connection, I'm having a hard time articulating this, but I guess like the idea of the outreach of, I guess, you know, human connection and like how do we solve the problems of loneliness? And these are our avenues that we attempt to do it. And because of that requires so much generosity of spirit and creativity and vulnerability that at the end of the day, it's like, does anyone understand me as well? And
that's true. That's a big thing. I also feel like, I don't know about how you handle it, but I think ultimately, you know, if it wasn't for other people's efforts, I pretty much withdraw. Yeah. You know, like I'm kind of I'll isolate. Yeah. And like, I can think back at times where I've been like when I wasn't married or dating or something, like I'll just hang out in a fucking room and like be like, I think I'm content. And then I think someone would be like, I don't know if this is healthy 100% that you're not meeting people. So like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think it's this weird kind of push and pull of like, it actually, you know, it's great to connect with people, but then it can intimidate people and it can also be overwhelming to people. So like, I love feeling like, oh man, I love hanging out with that person. Like that's the best feeling. But like everything in between that, getting to that feeling and that person is kind of the worst. You know, like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like you just are like, this dude is the best, but everyone I met up to that dude, I can do without. And like, you know, I don't know. There's also like so much discomfort and anxiety. The older I get, I think it's actually easier, but like, you know, trying to kind of cater to like how other people might perceive you and like what they think you're like, of course. You know, a certain age, you're just like, I mean, that's why fucking old guys are the best. Cause they're just like, yeah, my balls are hanging out of my shorts and I don't give a shit because they're like being themselves. I mean, you know, I'm not talking about like, they're not taking it all out, but I'm saying they're like, you know, they're just like, yeah, this is who I am, you know?
I admire that.
I admire that quality very much so.
I had this moment yesterday. I was doing this like after doing Mom here, I had to go like do some promotional stuff for another project, and I found myself getting relaxed enough that I was starting to pitch some ridiculous ideas. And I had this moment where everyone was kind of looking at me with like those eyes where it's like, are you fucking crazy? Mm-hmm. And I withdrew and I was like, oh fuck, yeah, I am. I'm like, that was stupid what I just pitched. That was dumb. And I like retreated, and then I felt myself blush, and then I sort of like internally scolded myself for a little while, and then whatever, I went out there and I was like, go see the thing. But overcoming that little humps of self-doubt, I guess, where, yeah, it probably was a really stupid idea.
But maybe not. Maybe it wasn't.
Maybe not, Tom.
No, but that's that's the thing that sucks. It's like you're on a Faris, and to hear you say that probably gives a lot of people, kind of confidence. They're like, oh, she feels self-doubt in that moment? Because everybody thinks that like, oh, like on paper, if you're like, I went into a meeting that pitched, they're like, I'm sure like those thoughts don't enter her mind. You're a known successful actress. So like, it's cool to hear you say that because everybody thinks it's just them. And they think that nobody successful could possibly entertain getting those looks and feeling like I'm a fucking moron. I should shut my mouth right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I fucking hate how many times I've felt so malleable and like easily influenced on an idea I was sure of. I regret it so much. I could think of
me too.
Specific examples of being like I remember selling this show and getting on the phone with like agents, managers, and they were like, the network bought this idea. Like they bought the idea off of one line. Here's the thing though, we see like a major flaw in that concept. And I'm like, okay. And then they're like, so you should kind of take it in this direction, which is like just not the direction of the idea. And like, I go, well, I see your point, but like, I think an audience would just kind of make a leap that that's the concept. And they're like, yeah, I think they wouldn't. And then I was like, oh, okay. Whatever you fucking say then.
Right.
And then I went in the total direction that 3 guys decided to tell me to take it in. And then like when it all was over, I was like, my biggest regret was just that on that phone call, I didn't go, no, I'm just going to stick to what I think we should do, Right. But I just let them go like, no, we know that's better.
What would happen though? I'm curious if you actually said that, look, I want to stick to my guns and stick to this idea. Like, what would happen, Anna? You've been in situations like that with executives.
She's difficult to work with. Or like, I think that there's always the assumption with a lot of like the money people that the audience is stupider than the creative types think. But yeah, I think it would be like, dead in the water, and she's difficult.
I think you might be right in that you also have to deal with the fact that they'd be like, well, it's a lady saying it, like. This lady's.
I'm no lady, Tom.
She's she doesn't know. I think I probably could have moved forward, like said like, well, like because ultimately it was up to me. That's what I hate about it is that they weren't saying like you have to change it. They were saying like we really think you should change it, and I just allowed them to convince me, even against my own instinct.
Yeah,
it's like one of those things where you're like, what the fuck, man? Like, why would you? Because, you just kind of crumble under the...
Completely.
Yeah.
The machine.
But I feel like these younger executives have to justify their job. So they feel like they need to like say something. Otherwise, what are they doing? If they're just approving or saying, yeah, sure, even if it is a great idea, they need to kind of put their stamp on it so they can say they're doing something with their jobs. I don't know.
But what I was saying, though, is do you feel like as a woman, though, that you feel like that the criticism on you in this hypothetical scenario is more like that you would have been criticized as difficult, but I would have been maybe characterized differently in that scenario?
Well, I don't know about the difficult idea, but I do think a lot about, is she going to be likable enough?
Oh, I got you. Because she's fighting us on this thing.
Right. Her flaws seem a little, like if I was pitching a character, her flaws seem a little bit too deep, too dark. What if her flaws are simply that, she's clumsy or whatever the cliche is, and I'm like, I want to be illiterate and angry and a meth addict.
Yeah.
And they're like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, everything. No,
But a hero. But I'm a
Yeah.
hero. I fight for justice.
I keep getting pushback on things like that I've been taking out now on just like if it's dark, and I'm like, that's why I like it, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the part I want in it, and they're like, this, I like this. This is what's funny to me. I'm the guy you asked to come up with something, and they're like, it's pretty dark. I'm like, exactly. That's what I like.
I think that, I think that it's like the search for honesty and truth and whatever we see, whatever our reflection is, if we can reflect, if we can do that idea with, a truthful perspective, of course that will read to maybe not everybody, but at least to like a segment of the population that might want to see something in artistic endeavor and feel like, oh yeah, I relate to that. I can relate to that. When I first was pitching House Bunny, I think some of our listeners may know this, but it's a movie that I'm really proud of.
It's very funny. I've seen it.
Thanks.
It's very funny.
Thanks. But my original idea was like, okay, so this is a woman who she gets kicked out of the Playboy Mansion because she's too old. She was never that popular. Maybe she didn't give the right dude a blowjob, and she's, she has a meth addiction, and she has to go back to her, small town in Alabama with her incredibly strict, Southern Baptist stepfather who's also abusive, and as
That's fucking hilarious. That's so funny.
I'm pitching this to the writers, and they're looking at me and nodding and smiling. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. And then like a week later, they called and they were like, hey, so we were thinking about your Playboy Bunny idea. And I was like, yeah? Wow. And they said, what if instead of being a meth addict, she became the house mom at a sorority? I was like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah. All right. But
Certainly more palatable to a wider audience.
But listen, that there's another audience for that crazy story, right?
Of course. That's the one.
I still yearn to play her.
But like, that's what like the dark, like, observe and report.
Yeah.
Is like that, it was, I think it's so funny to hear.
Such a funny movie.
Fucking so funny. And if that came out right now,
oh, you can't.
That scene,
yeah.
Your guy's sex scene would be like,
what do you think?
Trending? What do you fucking?
No, they wouldn't release that.
Yeah, they wouldn't release.
There's no way.
Oh, really?
Hell no.
Because I have a different argument for it.
Well, look, it's great. So, but I'm saying that in today, like in this current climate,
I think you guys are wrong.
Really?
Yep.
Why is that?
Because I think that my character
Is barely conscious during the time.
Yes, but also made a choice. Like, I think that.
But they'd be having you make this interview constantly, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Probably. Oh God,
Yeah.
You're right. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And then they'd be like, defend. Why would you agree?
But that's the thing, is that like it's blurry. It's all blurry matter in that world. Like you had this strong character who, my character Brandy, who felt like she was too good for this guy, and she enjoys sex. I imagine she has a lot of it, and so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
But you're also kind of considering that like people would be really thoughtful about all of this.
But they shouldn't. They should be, right? Like
they should be. But I think there's a lot of pride for people in being outraged.
Yes,
it
you what that
good.
is? It's like the gift of being offended.
It's at a level we have never seen on Earth.
Tom, I can't stop because you're going through that right now. I don't even know I should bring it up right now, but I know you're going through it right now.
Yeah, it's go ahead.
Exactly what you're talking about. From his special, Disgraceful.
There's a lot of very offended people, a lot of upset people,
because of a certain population in Louisiana.
They're very upset about a joke in a stand-up comedy show.
Right.
I mean, look, I got a lot of support from down there. People, have emailed me and send me messages like, I can't believe people are upset about this. But I do, I mock a guy that I met from Louisiana, and I I say that Cajuns, I don't understand why they have rights. And but it's like, here's the thing, like I'm saying that not like I'm not running for Congress. Like I'm doing it in the context of a stand-up show. And then I say we should build a wall around the state of Louisiana because we don't need them. I mean, it's, it's not nice, but it's jokes. But the outrage is real. And like they did a fucking show. They sent me this link, a local news thing was like, is this comedy or racism? And I was like, wait, what? And they're like, because they're considering the Cajun people to be a race, which they're not a race of people. But I think it feels good for people to go like, that's the bad guy. You're a piece of shit for saying that thing. And like, just kind of,
Don't you think that it makes it hard to like to take a risk?
It does make it hard to take the risk, but you do kind of, what I figured out, I don't know if it's the same in like making television and movies, but you realize that almost all the people that get outraged are people that weren't going to like you anyways. Like without that joke, they weren't going to be fans of mine. So I'm just like making sure that they don't come to a show. It kind of works out, it's like, oh, you're definitely not going to buy a ticket now. That's great. Like I just solidified who likes what I do and who doesn't. And I don't know. I mean, I'm going to deal with backlash. Sure. There's a lot of hate mail and people send me nasty comments and it's like, all right. I mean, it's a joke, dude. Like,
but it must be just a small population with a loud voice.
It is. It's because what happens is you get, in stand-up when a special comes out, if it has like wide exposure, people who love it send you like a message. That was great. I love you. You're hilarious. Can't wait to see you. When are you coming to Chicago? Blah, 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 blah. And you see all those and you kind of like scroll past them. And then it's like, you see like, I fucking hope you die. And you're like, I got to read this. You got to open that. And it's like the person sends you all the info and then they send you 6 more. So you think of like that person, then you scroll past 400 compliments.
I know. And then there's that one thing though that's like, I fucking hope you die. And you're like, oh God.
Yeah. But I think with stand-up too, the longer you do it, it's like snake venom is how I heard it described, you have a little dose of it early on and then you have a little more. Yeah. And you start to kind of like.
That's a great way to put it.
You kind of start to laugh at a lot of it.
That's a great way to put it.
Like this is like this guy wrote, I hope you don't break down. He spelled it Brake in Louisiana. I was like, okay. Like you start to laugh at the little things that you're like, okay, you're outraged. And then you find out, this is my favorite, especially for like a stand-up special, is when they're outraged and they haven't watched it. So you're like, wait, you're mad about something you don't know about yet? Like, they're like, well, I heard that you say something. You're like, shouldn't you know what you hate? Like, shouldn't you kind of do your research on how much you hate something? And they're like, yeah.
They're like, I hate that I'm not a stand-up.
Yeah.
Because that was always my dream.
Yeah. It's basically it. It's like, you're exactly right. I'm funny.
I know I'm right.
I'm funny.
I'm funny too.
Yeah. Okay.
Funnier than you, Tom.
You are. You're fucking funny.
Hey, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Will you? Well, dear listeners, we have the unbelievable Tom Segura here.
Yeah. Watch my fucking special. Send all your hate mail to @AnnaFaris.
Yeah. Hey, Sim, would you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Sim. I love that you're doing these intros, halfway through the show.
How do you guys know each other?
Oh.
We've been friends. We met at a bar like 19 years ago.
Real?
No, seriously. 18 years on Melrose.
Lake Colonial.
It's no longer around.
18 years ago. Were you working already then?
Yeah, she did Scary Movie.
You did Scary Movie 18 years ago?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Jesus.
I know.
That's crazy. I can't even fucking register that. What were you, in fucking middle school when you did it?
I love you. Yeah, I just had, I moved down here
from
Seattle.
Okay.
North of Seattle, and met Sim and through like friends of friends, and we just like hung out. I liked him. I thought he was cool.
Yeah, we became good friends, and we started this project about 2.5 years ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Actually, it's pretty amazing because Sim is like just a dear friend. I just officiated their wedding.
What?
Yeah.
Sim just got married.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
His beautiful wife, Amy.
Who's a huge fan, by the way. She wanted to be here, but she had to work.
Now I'm into this.
No, we watched Disgraceful together, and we were crying.
Would you guys ever send like a hate message?
Like a post or like a tweet?
Like a anti-fan letter.
No, of course not. No, it's so
Like an actual letter. Like you type up a letter and send it through the mail.
Or just like, I think you
or
suck.
Or an email.
Yeah, or like a.
I never understood people like that because whenever I'm sure you get
when you read them, you forget to think about that, but then think about like doing that yourself, and you're like, what?
It doesn't make sense to me. Like some of our iTunes reviews or Apple Podcast reviews where they just completely shit on us. And most of them are great, and I never read those. But when they completely I don't understand why they take the time to write 2 pages completely just point by point telling us how badly we suck.
Because
Why?
it's not about you or the show. It's about something going on with that person. And then here's an outlet. Here's a way I can express it. You know, it's like, oh, that's where I can target what I'm upset about. It really is. Like, come on, you're doing a podcast. They're gonna express how much they hate it for 2 pages. Like,
Exactly.
Really? You hate Sim that fucking much? I mean, I get it if you could see him, but like just listening to him, like that's crazy. Man.
Exactly. It's a leap. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
I did do one thing once.
What? Tell me. Oh, I'm so excited.
I've written about it before, but I wrote a letter to the band 311.
Yeah.
After their 3rd album release, expressing disappointment in sort of their creative turn.
I think that's a fair way to do it. No, I think it's different though, because sometimes I don't know if you ever get those.
A handwritten letter.
A handwritten letter?
Oh yeah. And it was like, "Dear 311,
What happened?
I've loved you for a long time, and I feel kind of bummed, or hopefully I didn't say bummed.
Yeah.
I probably said something like, I'm incredibly disappointed in the creative turn that you've taken. I just want you to know that, Anna Faris."
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's great though, because I also picture like the person reading that and they're like, what the fuck? Like, why can't we grow as artists? We just have to make Anna happy? I did do one time, I won't say, but I saw a show once and I was at work. It's like, when I had a day job, and it's like,
What day job?
I was working in post on reality shows.
Okay.
So I was a post coordinator.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
amazing.
That job sucks, by the way.
Horrible.
That's a terrible job.
Terrible. Working on, remember like Trading Spouses and My Big Fat Obnoxious Fiance and those
Amazing.
like hoax shows basically. And like one time the IT guy came over to me and he goes, you have the busiest internet traffic of anybody in this building? Because I had just like 50 tabs open. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, and he looks and it's just like, I'm looking at cars and I'm like watching YouTube and he's, what the fuck are you doing here? And I'm like, checking shit out, man. I don't have anything to do. So, but I was like on some site of a show and I like was disappointed in the show and it had a tab for like your feedback, but I didn't do like, you guys fucking suck. I gave them like an actual thoughtful, like I was like, I didn't like this and I didn't like that and I didn't like this and that, and I sent it. But I actually still remember sending that. Everybody could fucking blow me on your show.
Were you heard?
Yes. I think I was. No, they didn't say shit to me.
311 didn't hear me either. Or like they were just
It's so funny that you wrote disappointed in this new direction.
Okay, so we know, Tom, that you're married.
Yes, Olivia Munn is my wife. She's a lovely, lovely girl.
She's beautiful.
She is. But don't let her tell you otherwise.
Okay, listen. Here,
Yes.
imagine that you're single.
Mm-hmm.
These are deal breakers. All right?
Okay.
Okay. You are at Loteria at the farmer's market.
Okay.
For your third date.
Third date.
You ask her if she wants some more salsa, and she says, "Yes, please, Daddy."
No, I'm not into that. I don't like that at all. I mean, I don't like daddy talk. I don't like anything like that. I don't like any what is it? Adulation. Like, I don't like, especially at the beginning, like trying to go to bed, but I keep thinking of you. I'll be like, delete, never call me. Like, I don't like any of that shit either. No daddy talk. No fuck me daddy.
What if she's really hot? She's super hot, and you haven't had sex with her yet.
She's so hot.
Okay, well, maybe.
She's so hot.
Wait, we're still doing daddy though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
I'd take it for a spin. I want to try it. But
all right. She just says, "Yes, please, Daddy."
I think I'd be like, here's the salsa. And then I'd kind of gauge, like, is this going to be regular talk? That's the thing.
Okay, all right, let's give it a whirl.
You know, there's one-offs.
Let's give it a whirl.
Okay.
I'd love some more salsa, Daddy. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
just a tiny bit more.
There you go.
Oh, my God.
This is good. These are good tacos.
Oh, my God. I just love me a chimichanga, Daddy.
Yeah.
This is cool. I like this place.
I do too. I like it.
It seems really authentic.
It feels like we're almost in Puerto Vallarta or something.
Oh, my gosh.
You been down there?
Habla español?
Yeah, un poquito. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. No, I haven't really.
Well, we should go sometime.
Oh, my God. I would love that.
Yeah?
I would love that. We have to do it before the wall gets built.
Yeah. And
Hey, Daddy.
yeah. Yep.
Oh, my God. You don't mind if I call you that, do you?
How often?
Oh, no. I mean, it's not like, it's just like sort of a, you know.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that movie, Terms of Endearment?
I kind of remember it.
Anyway, I lost my dad at a young age.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he left. But you kind of remind me of him, but in like a kinkier way, you know?
I'm into this now. I like this. I like it a lot. I want to do it.
Daddy?
Yes.
Did you remember to get validated?
Not yet, sweetie, but I'm gonna go do it and change my name in your phone to Daddy. I want to be Daddy only. If you ever don't call me Daddy, it's gonna be a problem.
Oh, Papi, Daddy.
There we go. I'm into it. I'm sold. I'm sold.
Really?
Sold. Yep. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
come on.
I mean, it feels like a porno, but I like it. Yeah.
Okay. She likes to suck your unwashed toes.
It's weird. I mean, it's weird to be because it's like I'm a guy, you know?
You really like this
This
girl.
is the challenge.
You like her. She's a good girl.
This is why
You
the
like her.
deal breaker thing happens, you know?
She's really into it.
Yeah, she just really likes it.
She's a special person, but she really enjoys this.
She grew up on a farm. She was
She's like,
homeschooled.
don't fucking wash them. Like always reminding me, don't get in the shower.
Yeah.
Uh,
She's like, I'll clean them with my mouth.
I mean, it's. I guess, yeah. I mean, I'm not like it's not doing anything for me, you know, personally.
Would you feel a little self-conscious? Or?
Maybe, but I also feel like maybe it's one of those things that you adapt to.
Like, can you enjoy yourself knowing that she's enjoying herself?
I think, yeah, that's the part. I think I would be like, well, she keeps like, she fucking loves it, you know? Like,
Would you tell your friends?
Probably not. Probably not. It's different. Like as like a guy, women's feet are like considered, I don't know, pretty like well discussed. But like think of like a guy. I mean, I take care of myself, but I'm just like guys' feet.
Let's see.
Are
Take off your shoes, Tom.
you don't want to see these? They're just tied up high. I don't know, guys. We have hair on them.
Yeah, they're not pretty.
What is that a deal breaker for you?
Wait, which part?
If the reciprocated to you?
If he just wanted to suck on my toes all the time?
Yeah.
It depends on if there was if there were other things that he liked to suck on as well.
Yeah.
Then I would be okay with it.
All right.
But just the toes, that would be tough. Because I get nervous when a lot of attention is like.
So you'd want him to move from like toes to someplace else as opposed to just going straight to the toes to stay.
yeah.
I thought we were definitely suggesting the same on my scenario. I thought that was where we were getting started, and then the mouth would move, right? We're not just like...
Nope, just toast.
Just that? Oh, fuck that. No. This was just like, an appetizer. We're going to kind of move it along. If it's just... no, dude.
Toes and then lobes.
Toes and lobes?
Yeah.
Like, nah, you're skipping too many spots. No way.
Okay, she has a potbelly pig named Roundy. And you wake up in the morning after, a night of hot loving.
Right.
And you see that your date is milking Roundy. And she wants to make you a smoothie with...
No, get the fuck out of here with your nonsense right now. No. I mean, I'm all for petting the pig and like helping her milk.
It's Roundy.
No, fuck Roundy.
You've never had pig milk? It's so good.
No, I don't want to try it.
No, it's so good. No, it's so good for you.
Listen, Chrissa.
Yeah?
Fucking no.
Oh my God, why are you so close-minded? You weren't
Because I
close-minded last
am.
night.
I let you suck my toes and you call me daddy and I put a fucking stop at milk. I don't want fucking milk. I don't want cow milk. I don't want goat milk. I don't want pig milk. No. That's it.
God.
I know. I'm a psycho.
Oh.
Yeah.
What, are you like lactose intolerant?
Exactly. I have diarrhea thinking about that milk.
I hope your fucking car gets towed.
That's rude. And why would it be towed? It's a farm.
Because, no, I grew up in a farm and you parked outside on Franklin
It's
in that towaway zone because you wanted to fuck me so badly.
All right. Well, make me a shake.
You're going to be here for a while.
I gave a tip to a guy to try to get us into the national championship.
I know.
game.
I heard Bert's podcast, and
you did?
Yeah, it's amazing. By the way, sorry about the final score in the game, but
Oh my god! I gave that dude $100 just to try to walk me through a
because
line.
it was like an hour to get in, right?
Yes,
Because the president was there.
it's the fucking worst. The worst. Waiting in a line because the fucking president, who forget all politics, he doesn't care about the game. Like he's just going to like make an appearance. That's what bothered me. I would have respected it if he was like, God, I fucking love football. I want to go to this game. He was just there to be like, oh, and then just took off. He didn't even stay for the game.
I was going to go there to make an appearance.
You're fine.
And I was going to say like, and I.
Can you sing?
Did you not just hear?
I mean, like that was a taste though.
Can you give us more?
We'll always love you.
But maybe you can do other things, like you can dance.
I like your voice. Keep going.
Fuck off.
I thought you were doing well.
Thanks.
I don't know how Tom feels, but I thought you were.
I thought that was great. I want to ask you a serious question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite type of role to play?
Oh.
Wait, one.
Oh, I love this
What
multiple choice.
role? No, this is in second question.
Okay.
What like wheelhouse of role do you want to play that you haven't done yet?
I really want to be a horrible villain.
You want to be a bad person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've had a couple of opportunities to be like incredibly obnoxious, which I think taps into my natural spirit.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'd like to be
The villain.
I'd like to be a bad person.
Uh-huh.
Can you see that in my eyes?
Yeah, I see it. And what's your favorite that you've played thus far? Not, it doesn't have to be the specific character, but I'm saying type, like what traits do you like playing thus far?
I liked being a complete narcissist in Just Friends, like spoiled and bratty and sort of like coming from a world that I never personally ever knew, sort of just a rich girl who felt completely entitled, who was also insane. I don't know. What would it be for you?
Man, fucking anything.
I could see a killer behind your eyes.
I'm actually trying to get something made where I'm a killer. That's what I'm trying to shop.
Can I be your killer cousin?
Would you?
Oh, fuck yeah. I'll be like your little ratty, like tweaked out.
You gotta be like hunched over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meth, you can bring the meth problem with you.
Oh, yeah.
Incorporate what wasn't in
Daddy.
that. Yeah. Daddy. My cousin that calls me daddy.
Daddy.
Who's that? Is that your girl? It's my cousin. She keeps calling you daddy.
Daddy, get the fucking shit and we gotta fucking go.
Yeah, all right, let's go.
Daddy, I have to run a couple of like really funny jokes by you.
All right. Let's hear him.
Okay, Daddy, but we gotta get the fuck out of here. But are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Dad.
Gosh. This is so uncomfortable. So weird. What do you think?
I love that you actually physically recoiled. That was amazing.
It's so. What is your actual real thought on? I mean, pet names happen in relationships, you know. But what's your real thought on daddy?
Oh boy.
Right.
Well, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because I know it doesn't come. Pet names don't come, I think, pretty naturally to me anyway, though.
Right. Well, okay, but I mean, like you
and I have a really great relationship with my own dad.
Yeah. No, that one, but it's fucking wild, right?
Yeah. But at the same time, there's something that's like, now this is me. I don't know. Maybe you cut this part out. I don't know. But there's something like erotic about being treated like a little doll. See, I don't know.
I love their faces. Their faces were amazing. There was a quick moment where you all were not like, self-aware.
Can't I be like the dominatrix and like, you know, like the little baby?
I don't understand the doll part though. What do you mean by that?
Well, more that like an innocent. Like I want to be both. I want to be the dominatrix. I want to be able to like throw somebody down and be like, you know,
kick
whatever.
You in the balls.
Yeah. And then, you know, a few minutes later being like, oh, ooh, look at me.
What's wrong with that? That's great.
Yeah, you can be both those. That's fair.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
I mean,
Cassie's like wincing. She's like, what
my wife loves, you know, as a joke, you know, obviously we see like a lot of videos that are like like our podcast is outrageous videos and audio and all this. So like one time I show her this video and it's this like, I guess Dom dressed in like, you know, not in like dominatrix gear, but like basically dressed like she's going to work at an office, right? Like skirt and heels and blah, blah, blah. And the guy comes in. Anyway, she just starts kicking the fuck out of his balls and then like gets him down to his underwear, keeps kicking him in the balls, then strips him down naked. So there's no, like, you're not like, is he wearing a cup? And she's just lighting him up, right? Just kicking him. He's like, huh. And he's like shaking. And she's like, I want you to suffer. I want you to suffer. She keeps telling him, I want you to suffer. Grabbing his balls, just beating him, kicking him. And I'm like, laughing, and then I'm like, woof. And I show it to my wife, and she's nodding. She goes, I would do that. I could do that. And I'm like, wait, what? And she's like, I would love to be able to like have some guy pay me to kick his balls and stuff. I'm like, you like that? She goes, that's not that I like it, but I'm saying I would do that. I would do that for money.
Well, there's a lot I do for money.
Would you get pleasure out of it the way Tom's wife seems to?
No. Because I know, but
he's signing up. He's like, he's not fighting you on it.
Explored this mentally.
Yeah.
He's actually like, I want to do this.
God.
No, I wouldn't get, but no, I don't know. Isn't there always like that juxtaposition of like the, you know, the power control and in all that in like sexual play? It's like people, and I'm not quite sure it should be overly examined in a person. Like,
I mean, no judgment. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like some people's desires should be just
that's what they like, and you leave it alone.
Yeah, why overanalyze it?
Right?
Yeah.
Like unless of course there's victims involved, and that's of course another like a, you know, that's a horrible tragedy. But in one's own imagination, I think like a shoe fetish or kicking somebody's balls or sucking toes or whatever, I don't know. People should be able
piss
to
on me, beat me, try it out. Yeah.
They should be able to. There should be a freedom in that element of imagination.
I totally agree. There's some fun stuff out there. Go for it.
You know what we have to do though? We have to get the calls. Is that okay?
I have to leave in like
half hour. Is that good? All right. You know what? We're gonna do this. I promise both these callers. So let's do 10 minutes each. All right. So
we're calling these people.
Yeah, we're gonna call Laura first. Laura is here in LA, and she's 29.
Hello.
Hey, Laura. It's Sim. How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm going to introduce you to Anna. Anna, say hi to Laura.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, Anna.
Hi, and you're here with Tom Segura.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, Tom Segura.
How you doing?
I'm great. How about you?
Doing great.
So, Laura, your boyfriend is not having sex with you anymore, and there's a reason why. Why don't you tell us the story? What's going on?
Okay. So he is a little bit less experienced than I am, and he knows that. But for some reason, he has been a little bit insistent on wanting to have a threesome, and it started really bothering me because he kept bringing it up. And I started wondering, why does he want to fuck other women? Like, this is really disturbing. I love this guy. We've been together almost a year. So I even had a nightmare about it, actually, because I was so bothered by it. So I thought, okay, I've got to say something to him. So I brought it up at dinner one night, and I kind of went through all the scenarios and reasons of why that's a bad idea. And I told him, what's going to happen? Like, if we are having a threesome with another girl, you go for her first. I'm going to get mad. That's one scenario. This is also, something that you do with kind of like throwaway people, not somebody that you really care about and are in a relationship with. And then finally I said, also, what if you come in 2 minutes and then you're going to be embarrassed? And that, looking back, that was the wrong thing to say, but it's totally killed his libido, emasculated him. He thinks that I don't want to have sex with him. He thinks that I think he's embarrassing and bad in bed, and now he's completely defeated about it, and he doesn't want to have sex with me at all. And that's been going on for about a month. So I'm really sad that I have this tension now in my relationship, and I don't want him to feel bad, but I don't know what I can do to fix it. So really what I'm wanting to know is how can I make him, get his mojo back and, feel good about himself and want to have sex with me.
Oh boy. So do you on a scale of 1 to 10, do you love him, Laura? Do you see a future with him?
I do. Yes. That's why this is really bothering me to the point that I'm seeking out advice about it.
I got to tell you one thing that I'll say. First of all, I think that nothing, you can't overemphasize communicating enough. And it sounds like you've, I'm not saying you haven't made attempts to, but restating your passion about him and how much you desire him, reassuring someone especially if you think they feel insecure about something, guys, we're kind of we have pride, we're dumber. And if you really go out of your way to really reassure somebody and really express your desire, especially your desire to have sex with him, and you're explicit about that, it's going to get to the point where your message is going to come through. So I would say it sounds almost juvenile, but constantly reassuring and taking a real swing at doing that is the kind of thing that as a guy we're okay, I buy it now, because a lot of times you're I've already said it, I know he feels that way. Well, he needs to hear it again, and then he needs to hear it again, and then he needs to hear it again.
And Laura, I am of the opinion that threesomes are not a great idea for a long-term stable relationship. But I was also at a place in my life in my 20s where I felt like I sort of upon reflection sort of sought to make my boyfriend jealous, and I want to make sure that maybe you don't get caught into that idea at all, because it's powerful. It's powerful to be oh, I had all these crazy sexual encounters, and what do we have now? And so of course he's feeling maybe a little insecure. So I would I would do exactly what Tom said, but I also maybe examine how much you love him and want to be with him, and I would definitely not recommend a threesome. That is where I'm
right.
coming from.
I totally agree. I feel like that my whole point backfired on me, because the whole point of it was, I had a nightmare about like the thought of him sleeping with someone else. Like that was my whole point, is that, I care about you and I would never want to open up our relationship to something so stupid, and I feel like in that point, maybe I didn't convey that message clearly to him, and I said it in a way that was hurtful, but I feel like my motivation for saying anything was just that, I only want to be with you. I only want you to want to be with me. And it didn't come across that way. And now I just feel totally stuck.
Well, I think that you just continue. Then, I think you tell him exactly that, and tell him how much you love him, and be intimate and physical. And if he sort of shrugs you off or whatever, maybe try one or two more times. Don't let yourself get too powerless in the situation, but because it sounds like you both are kind of manipulative with each other at this sort of stage in the game, I guess. But I would, if you love him, then continue to make him feel supported, and all that's racing around in his mind right now is you having threesomes, and he's feeling like, how do I combat that? How do I compete with that? How am I a man in Laura's eyes? And so
and when he brings it up again, which he will, just be like, you know what, it was awful. I regret that I did it, and I'm not even proud of it. Like, whatever, that's, whether or not that's true, it's like, that's ultimately, listen, that's what the guy wants to hear. He wants to hear that you don't miss that, and that was,
lie to him, lie as much as possible.
And if you love him this much, you could also say, like, I think I said that to sort of tantalize you.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I regret that I said that.
If he means,
because it was awful, or whatever your truth, or
if she loved it, she shouldn't tell him that. Exactly. Lie to him about that. Of course, no guy wants to hear that she had fun.
And you can say it, like, if you told him before how great it was, do what Anna said and be like, yeah, but I was saying that because I was being childish. You put it on yourself. Like, I wanted to elicit some emotion in you, so I exaggerated. It wasn't like that. It was actually uncomfortable and it was gross.
Right.
And I only want
That's actually really good. Uncomfortable and gross are two great words that a guy should hear.
Yeah, of course.
But Laura, this is like an examination for you.
And they had small dicks.
No, not getting into size conversation. But Laura, I think really what it means for you, I think, is an examination of how much you want to be in this relationship. And if you want to, then those are your chores and those are your tasks, is to reassure him that you're his, or he's yours, and that you guys are going to try to make this work. If you're not into that, then I would break up with him.
Can I throw out an alternate scenario and tell me if this doesn't make sense at all? But what if he's playing a little bit of a mind game to try and punish her for saying that? What if he's like, is there a world where he's doing that? Men
always want to punish women for their past sexual encounters. Don't you guys think?
Yes. At least for a phase. Unless you're talking about like
just trying to make her feel awful about it. And I don't know if it's...
But it's good to even actually make note of that, Laura, for the rest of your life, no matter how many relationships you're in. Like, guys, until they're, a certain age, or even actually when they are mature, like, they don't want to know that it was great before. For most guys. I mean, some guys, are
or
different.
that other things were more adventurous.
Yeah, no, they don't. No, they feel it feels threatening to most guys.
And for women, there's also the counterpart too, where it's like hoping that, like, we're the most beautiful one that you've ever been with, or like, you've never worshipped a body more, or what, like, there's the other, and I hate to gender stereotype like this, but it seems to me that it's kind of the sad truth of things a little bit. But so Laura, your job here is to figure out how much you want to be in this relationship. And if you really love him, then maybe it's worth being the bigger person here and saying like, I told you about those experiences because I wanted to be tantalizing, and I wanted to, but they weren't great, and I love you so much. I don't really want to do them, you're an amazing lover. And if you don't feel that way, then you say, I guess maybe it's time we think about other options or something. I don't know.
But it's true. That actually is the first consideration. The first consideration you need to make in any of this is how important is the relationship to you, because that should dictate everything else.
Hey, Laura, we're a little short on time today, but is this okay? Are you okay with this advice?
Yes, I appreciate it very much. All advice is good advice for me at this stage. So thank you.
Well, send me an email and let me know how everything
Laura,
goes.
please let us know, because you are not alone. I feel like we've had a lot of submissions about this very idea.
That's true.
And
that's true.
And I love you, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Laura.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Bye. Laura.
Bye.
Can we do one more call real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, of course.
Oh boy, the threesomes.
Always a bad idea, right?
Always a bad idea.
That shit was like, and I know too. It's like that. Once she told him that was in that guy's head forever.
Oh yeah, I know.
Of course,
Yeah.
right?
There's always like that one guy who's like, "That's awesome. Tell me how hard did
And
you
that
come
guy's
during
kind of
that?"
a
Yeah,
dick.
yeah, that guy's fucking weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the other one here.
Yeah, we're gonna call Megan right now. Look at the bottom part because she had a little. Her situation evolved a little bit, so just that. And she is in St. Louis, and she's 28.
Hello.
Hey, Megan, how are you? It's Sim.
Hi. Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Here's Anna.
Hi, how are you?
Hey. Good. How are you?
I'm good. And you are here with Tom Segura.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi, Tom.
Hey, so Megan, tell us what is going on with your boyfriend. What happened?
Okay. Well, we've been dating, I guess, for now about 2 months, and everything's going great. And I really like him. But he does this thing that bothers me quite a bit, and he just finds it necessary to share his past sexual experiences with other women with me, in detail for the most part. It kind of started when we first started talking. Just one example, we were just talking, making small talk, and he said, "Oh, have you watched the show Stranger Things?" And I said, "Oh yeah, absolutely, I love it." I said, "How about you?" And he said, "Yeah." So I was dating this girl a few months ago, and we watched the whole first season, and we would stop and have sex in the middle, and we did it all in one day, and it was a really, really great day. I was just like, okay, not really necessary to tell me that. You could have just answered the question with the yes or no, but
Hold on.
And okay.
Wait, because right away, only two scenarios come to mind. It's either that someone's oblivious as to, when they're saying that, or they're deliberate in when they're saying that. But you would pick up on somebody being oblivious or deliberate in other facets of how they, have conversations. So do you think he's oblivious when he's sharing that? Like, hey man, that's just something you don't need to tell the current person. I think
he's lying.
Well, that's okay.
You think he's lying?
Well, I want you to continue.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, because that was actually the third scenario that I didn't even think of, which is that he would be making that up. But keep going. I'm sorry. So that was your example. Keep going.
Well, I mean, it was pretty consistent when we were first talking. Just anything I had to say or any story that I had, he would kind of add his story, but it always involved him hooking up with some other chick. But anytime I kind of throw it back, he shuts down and he gets really, really quiet. And I don't really go into detail. I just even go as far as mentioning like, oh, this dude I dated, and then I say, I tell a story. I mean, but he's done other things too, where like he will bring up like old photos that girls have sent him. They're not like nude photos.
Wait, he'll show you the photos?
Yeah. And he's like, oh, look at this. Isn't this funny? And I'm like, no. And then he just kind of laughs it off because he thinks I'm being like sarcastic or dry. And it's not that. And the problem I'm having is like, I don't know how to approach it because I don't want to jeopardize anything. I'm not a jealous person. I don't want him to think I'm coming at him in like a jealous rage and telling him like, you can't talk to women or this or that, but it happens so frequently that it's just really starting to wear on me.
How long you been together?
2 months. We've known each other for a while though, but we just recently started dating.
Okay.
How much do you like him?
I definitely like him a lot, and I feel like I could see a future with this person.
What do you like about him?
He's just very like, he's not embarrassed about like his like hobbies or things that he likes. He's just very genuine. He's very himself. And like the older I get, the more I appreciate that. Because like he likes what he likes and he's not embarrassed to talk about it, or, he's really proud. And I like that. That's like what attracts me to him the most.
In your gut, why do you think he's telling you about these experiences?
I wonder, like, maybe if it's because he's been single for a while, maybe he's not used to being a boyfriend yet, and he's still kind of in like that single brain where everything's a story about people that you've dated or hooked up with. I mean, that's like kind of how I'm feeling.
I mean, I think it's typical sometimes. I remember when I was single, if I was dating someone, I think when I was younger, because of my insecurity at the time, I would say things, not to that extent, but just about, if I dated a pretty girl, I'd kind of somehow try and casually slip it in or whatever, just to make myself look better to the person I was on a date with. And at the end of the day, it was complete insecurity on my part. And it's something I knew that made me sound like a complete douchebag.
Yeah.
Of course, I was in my early 20s then, and I stopped that. But
this is so interesting because there's so many, like, there really are actually more, like, different reasons why this might be happening. I mean, one of them that comes to mind is that, especially hasn't dated a lot. It's an insecurity, and he's almost like showing you that, like,
he's worthy.
I've been with other people.
Right.
I know that this is like a relationship now, but I'm like proving himself.
Sure.
To you, because I mean, it doesn't seem like, at least from what we've picked, like what you've said, that like it doesn't seem like it has a malicious streak in it. Like it's not like trying to be said. At least I don't pick up on that. Like unless you're saying that that's being done. Like
I don't think he's genuinely trying to
harm you by telling you that. And that's where I feel like there at least might be some aspect of also obliviousness. In other words, sometimes you haven't dated a lot. You don't know some of the etiquette, of like, that's a story he would tell his buddy if they're out playing around a golf and a text comes in and he's like, oh, check this out. Me and this girl, we actually did this and blah, blah, blah. And he's just kind of like, sharing it with the wrong person. It's like, it's like harmless. It feels to me like if you are, you're able to communicate well. If you go like, look, I got to tell you, I'm not jealous. I know that like you've dated women. I know you have friends that are women or whatever, but like, you don't have to. I don't want to hear these stories. I don't need to hear these.
Tom, I like what you're saying, but I would go at it from a different angle.
Okay, which is?
I would say to this guy, like, hey, I really like you. And sometimes when you tell me these things, it makes me jealous. And I don't want, like, I'm really into you. I think that you're really into me. I see like an awesome future for us. But I can't, I'm not great with hearing these stories. And,
Nana's advice is better.
That actually is good, because if I heard that, I would stop immediately.
Yes.
Any guy
and
would,
actually,
right?
if you do what Anna said, you're also going to get, you're going to know whether he
Right.
feels this
so
way,
Right,
which
right.
is the key to it. Because if he like is like, well, that's your fucking problem, then you know that he's not valuing, you know, how you feel about it. So Anna's totally right.
But if he's like sweet and humble, and he's like, and he like takes a step back,
It's a great sign.
internally,
Yes.
then you know you have a great person who's just been simply trying to impress you because he loves you.
And if he sends you like hardcore nudes that night of other girls, then you gotta marry that guy. That guy's solid.
But this is interesting because you guys are only 2 months into the relationship. So I mean, it can go at any place at this point. So do you feel like she should talk to him sooner than later, right?
Sooner, oh yes, most definitely, as soon as possible. But there is something indicative about the idea that they went to high school together. So he may have been sort of worshiping her from afar a bit. So then there's this other element of
true.
like,
Wow, you just took it. You went deep diving there, but I like that. That makes sense.
And especially, what about if they went to high school together, and in high school, I don't know his history, but like, let's say he never had
exactly,
girlfriends and hooked up, and now he wants to be like, you know what?
Because she didn't, Megan didn't know that, but he did. Right. And so anyway, so Megan, be honest with him and let him know that like the only kind of communication you can, that you want to deal with is just sort of openness. And I bet he'll be so appreciative. And
yeah, I mean, you come from a place of love and kindness, and like, I like you. That's you,
because it's clear that to me that he's trying to prove himself to you.
Absolutely,
like whatever. And anyway, and I bet he'll just.
All right, so let's give him let's give her some final advice before we let her go.
Okay, well, let us know how everything goes, but also I think just tell him that you're really into him, and when he tells you these stories, that it makes you feel jealous and insecure, and you don't like that, and that will make you seem incredibly confident.
I like confidence.
Anyone else?
No, I think a solid advice from Anna. You do that approach, and the response will be all the results you need. It's gonna dictate what you do. You should listen to the response that you get, because it's going to tell you what direction to go in. Don't ignore the response that you get.
Megan, let me know how it goes.
Yeah,
Email
Megan,
me.
thank you so much. Thanks so much. I love you, and thank you.
Oh, thank you guys. I love you too.
Bye.
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 Tom.
I gotta fucking go, Anna.
Tom, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was so fun.
Netflix, Disgraceful.
Yeah, please watch
Your
it.
podcast is amazing.
Your mom's house. Yes.
Can I come on it?
Will you?
I would love to.
I want to set it up.
All
Tell
right.
me who to.
We'll do it through.
I'm going to
Allison.
need your watch.
Okay, you can wear it. Here you go.
It is a nice watch.
Bye, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks.